The Constitution of India provides for a single citizenship for the whole of India. In fact, all those who belong to this country are citizens of India. Citizenship refers to a person's complete membership of a country or his or her permanent affiliation to that country. At the same time, the nation too recognizes its citizens as its part and parcel. The Constitution of India provides certain rights, duties, privileges and obligations for all its citizens. Non-citizens, or to say aliens, are not entitled to these privileges and are not expected even to bear any of these responsibilities. The Indian Constitution provides several rights and privileges to the Indian citizens. The first one is, all public offices of India are open to an Indian citizen. Second, an Indian citizen is eligible for recruitment to all public or government services in India according to his or her qualifications. Third, an Indian citizen can vote to elect people's representative to form governments at all three levels: centre, state and the local level. An Indian citizen can contest election or be appointed as a public figure, that is, the president. An Indian citizen can represent India in international events like sports, cultural and educational meet, etc. All fundamental rights offered by the Indian Constitution can be availed by its citizens only. And the last, citizens of India can avail all forms of protection and security from their government as mentioned in the Constitution. Now, along with these rights and privileges, there are various duties and obligations which every Indian citizen has to fulfill. Number one, every Indian has to take an oath of loyalty to India. Second, defend his or her country when required to do so. Third, pay taxes to the government on time, obey laws made by the Indian Parliament, cast his or her vote for a sincere candidate in the election, exercise his or her rights and the fundamental rights in a correct manner so that they do not harm the interests and rights of others, and respect the national symbols like the national emblem, national anthem, national flag, and help preserve the public property. Now, who is an Indian citizen? Person is a citizen of India if he or she is, firstly, born in India of Indian parents and intends to live here on a permanent basis. Second, not born in India, but either of his or her parents was born in India and he or she has been living in India with an intention to live here permanently. Third, not born in India, but has been living in India for more than 5 years. Fourth, living outside India, but who or either of whose parents or grandparents was born in India and has not accepted the citizenship of some other country. And the last and the fifth point, living in India but migrated to Pakistan after 1st March 1947 and later returned to India on resettlement permit. Then we move on to the termination of Indian citizenship. The Indian citizenship of a person can be seized if he or she, number one, has voluntarily acquired the citizenship of another country. Second, has posed a threat to the nation's security or other national interests, and the court finds his or her case suitable for the seizure of the citizenship. Third, has acquired citizenship by fraud. Fourth, is proved disloyal to the nation and its constitution. And the last point, if a person is sentenced to imprisonment for a period of 2 years or more within 5 years of his or her registration as an Indian citizen. Now we move on to the fundamental rights. The fundamental rights embodied in the Indian Constitution are based on the democratic and humanitarian grounds. These rights act as a guarantee that all Indian citizens are equal before the law. Every citizen of India will be treated equally by the government or in the court of judiciary. These rights are enforceable by law, meaning if anyone is denied any of the stated rights, he or she can move to the court of law. In addition, the fundamental rights for Indians are aimed at abolishing the inequities of social practices such as untouchability and providing equal opportunities for all. The fundamental rights have been guaranteed by the Indian Constitution in 6 broad categories. The right to equality states that all citizens of India are equal and will be treated equally in the court and within the territory of India. It includes all Indian citizens are equal before the law, all Indians are entitled to equal protection of law, there will be no discrimination on the grounds of gender, caste, religion, race, or place of birth. All Indians have equal opportunity of getting employment in public offices according to their qualifications. And abolition of untouchability. The second category is right to freedom. This guarantees Indian citizens 6 basic freedoms. Number 1, freedom of speech and expression. That means every Indian is free to speak or express his or her views, beliefs, or conviction. Second, freedom of peaceful assembly without arms. Third, freedom to form associations, that is, formation of social, cultural, or political parties, societies, clubs, companies, organizations, partnership firms, or even personal associations. The fourth, freedom of movement throughout the country. Fifth, freedom of residing and settling in any part of India. And the sixth freedom is freedom of practicing and carrying any profession, trade, or business. The third category is cultural and educational rights. The cultural and educational rights are grouped into one of the 6 fundamental rights that have been granted to the Indian citizens. These are described in the Constitution as, number 1, any section of citizens residing in the territory of India or any part thereof having a distinct language, script, or culture of its own shall have the right to conserve the same. Second, no citizen shall be denied admission to an educational institution maintained by the state or receiving aid out of state funds on the ground of religion, race, caste, language, gender, or region. And all minorities, whether based on religion or language, shall have the right to establish and administer educational institutions of their choice. The fourth category is right to freedom of religion. It allows an Indian citizen to choose and follow any religion that he or she likes. This fundamental right was chosen after being given a lot of thought. The Constitution has granted India the secular status, meaning all citizens are free to follow the religion of their choice, and no citizen of India will be discriminated on the ground of religion, and every religion has to be respected equally. The fifth category is the right against exploitation. In this, no individual can be forced or compelled to do work without wages. Women and children should not be exploited. Children should not be employed. They should not be engaged in dangerous works. Children below 14 years shall not be employed to work in any factory which may pose danger to their life. Torturing and inhuman behavior, degrading and cruel treatment and punishment to anyone grossly violate human dignity and are against a fundamental right. Doing so is a punishable offense. The sixth and the last category is the right to constitutional remedies. It allows for the enforcement of fundamental rights by the court. If an Indian citizen is denied or deprived of his or her fundamental rights are violated, he or she has a right to go to the court and get justice.